Hello, and welcome to another Sinister Sunday. Let's continue our haunted house series with the Akeley house in Nyack, New York. Let's see what it's all about. What's going on there? Cynthia Akeley recalls sitting on her bed in her new home when the cord to the light above began swinging in a way that she had never seen before. It wasn't sloping in an arc like it should. Instead, it was as if some invisible force were playing ping pong with the pull switch. The year was 1967. Her father had gotten a job in New York City, and her family had recently traded their Maryland farm for a Victorian just north of New York City. Her parents, Helen and George Akeley, were determined to restore this derelict Victorian that was run down. They planned to raise their 4 children in this 4,200 square foot house on the Hudson. Built in 1890, the house in Nyack had sat vacant for several years before the Akeleys bought it. During that time, neighborhood children would say they saw a few faces in the windows. Over their 2 decades in the home, the Akeleys would have many unexplainable experiences. They heard mysterious footsteps and voices. Doors and windows would fly open. On several occasions, they claimed they even received visits from peaceful spirits wearing clothes from centuries past. The paranormal was just part and parcel of their new home. The many ghosts who roamed the halls of one Lavetta Place were active enough to inspire Helen Akeley to write a national article about them in Reader's Digest. The article gained enough momentum that the house became a stop on local ghost tours, which ended up having a not-so-great ramifications when it came time to sell their home in the late 1980s. The old Victorian would eventually achieve infamy in the early 1990s after the Akeleys put it on the market. When the buyer learned of the home's supernatural history, they tried to back out of the deal. To recover their deposit, they sued the Akeleys, and the court, for the first time, established that a property was haunted in the published opinion. The opinion, referred to as the Ghostbusters ruling, established the Akeley residence as the only known legally haunted house in America. The case has been taught in law schools across the country, and while disclosure laws may vary greatly by state, the case did create something of a common sense precedence for what sellers must disclose to buyers. The Nyack home itself changed hands several times since the ruling, including some celebrity owners attracted to its notoriety. However, not a single one has publicly reported any paranormal experiences. But the questions and the mysteries remain. Is America's only legally haunted home really haunted? Cynthia, who is now 70, is a believer. She lived in the home during high school and briefly after she was married, and then again when she was widowed. On her first holiday break in the house, she was awakened by her bed being shaken. The next morning, it happened again. It wasn't violent, Cynthia said. It was just really gentle, like someone was shaking you awake, like, come on, you'll be late for school. So the next night, before she went to sleep, she announced loudly to the room that she was on Christmas break and didn't have to go to school in the morning. After that, the spirits allowed her to sleep in. A few years later, she met one of the residents of the home. She walked into her bedroom late one night and saw a woman in white sitting on her bed. The apparition was looking in the mirror as she combed her blonde hair. Cynthia remembers politely excusing herself and going downstairs for about a half hour. When she returned, the woman was gone. Cynthia said she even received some gifts from the ghosts. When Cynthia's oldest daughter was baptized, Helen Akeley had to tie a gold ring onto the baby's finger because it was too big for her. When the family returned to the house after the ceremony, they found a small ring on the dresser. It fit the baby's finger perfectly. Her daughter, now grown, still wears the ring around her neck. Helen, her mother, who penned the article for Reader's Digest in 1977, shared family experiences in the home. She wrote about seeing a male ghost floating in the air, smiling at her while she painted in the living room. He was dressed in a blue shirt with ruffles at the throat and waist, short pants that stopped at the kneecaps, and black shoes with buckles. Helen wrote, "We have come to savor these happenings. It gives us a sense of continuity of the past with the present and with the future. These elusive spirits seem gracious, thoughtful, only occasionally frightening, and thoroughly entertaining. Now we wonder, if the time comes for us to move again, is there any way we could take our otherworldly friends with us?" The home was last sold in March 2021 for $1,795,000. The new owners, who are also in the creative field, are renovating the home. The 5-bedroom, 4.5-bathroom home was valued at $1,864,000 earlier this week. Let me know what you guys think, haunted or not, down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining us on another Sinister Sunday. We'll see you again soon.